Recall. Recall will be top of everyone's wish list, I would say, when it comes to having their dog, when it comes to obedience. There's a lot of commands that are very important, but having your dog come back would be probably most people's number one they need the dog to do. Now, there's a few factors in this working for you. One that I think a lot of people forget about is having the bond with your dog, a really good bond. We got Nash when he's like 6 months old, he's about 11 months now. First month or so, you're establishing that bond. You're trying to get the dog to obviously realise who he's with, who his owners are, who his pack is, and build that up. That goes a long way to helping your dog wanting to be with you. Now, I had to teach this exact process to young Nash here for recall work, and I started on a long lead. Another thing that people fail to do is really follow the process. They try and go from step 1 to step 10, and they haven't got it working yet. The third thing is, with recall with your dogs, you want to set them up for success. And that's what we're doing today with the long lead. Nash has passed this process, but I'm going to show you how I taught my dog with recall. There's no secret in it. A lot of trainers do it, and it works very well. Truth is, this is probably the second or third stage you're at. I would start a lot of times inside or in a backyard in a very small environment. So you call your dog can't get away, and it's a lot more controlled, and you build up to maybe a beach or a park. But you can start with this one first up. It's not really a big problem, but there is a couple of steps that might help before this. So we've got our long lead. One thing you need to remember is no matter what your dog does, no matter what, it can never associate coming to you with anything negative. It doesn't matter if it's dug a hole, it doesn't matter if it didn't come back for 10 minutes. When it eventually does come to you, you have to reward your dog. You have to be more valuable than anything on the beach. There's dogs here right in front of you. You've got to be more valuable than that. And if you're not, it's not going to work. Okay? It's okay. It's okay. It's fine. Okay. No worries. So we've got a dog visiting here. This is what I mean. You have to be more valuable than that dog. And saying to your dog, come in a flat, boring tone is not going to work. You're going to be more valuable. So I'm going to give a little walk here. The camera might be a little bit away, but you'll still hear me on the mics. And I want to show you the process. So I've got my food here. I don't use a food for a lot of training, but I do use it for recall, especially on the initial process of teaching your dog. I have to be valuable. My value is generally it's food. It may not be me. It's me and the food, but primarily your dog's going to come for this food. And I want to teach him that coming to me is a great thing, and then I let him go again. It's very important that they come, they go, they come, they go. Now, you're not going to hear me say that word anymore around him. I don't actually like saying the word around my dog because every time I say the word, it takes the power away. I'm only doing it now as a training video, but once your dog does have a good recall, limit how much you say the recall command around your dog unless you're going to enforce it. So let's pretend Nash is a total beginner dog. First thing I do, I'm walking around. Nash, come. Sit. Obviously, Nash has got a pretty good recall. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dumb it down a bit, and I'm going to whisper it. He might not hear me. It's a little bit on the line and maybe cruel to my dog, but I want to show you what would happen if he didn't come, how I'd enforce it in a fun way. Free. So I let my dog go. Nash, come. I say it, he doesn't come, I go, come. I give a little pop. Sit. You would have heard me whisper in the mics then. Good boy. So I'm trying to pretend like my dog doesn't have a recall. But just, you've got to use your imagination here. If you give the command and your dog doesn't respond, you have the ability to enforce it with this lead. Now, I don't want you to enforce it so it feels like a reprimand to your dog. It's not a reprimand. It's simply associating the word with the action. The amount of people that still call me and go, my dog doesn't recall when I call it. And I ask, have you taught your dog? And they're like, well, no, I thought my dog just knew what recall was. Guys, they don't. It's same as when you're teaching your dog how to sit and down and do all those other commands. You have to teach them the association of the word come. So, Nash, come. He's smelling. Nash, come. That's actually a good example. Good boy. Distracted. If I didn't have the lead on my dog then, what would I have done? I wouldn't have said the word again. I would have walked up to him, grabbed his collar, gave him a little pop and said, hey, you got to come towards me. Truth is, in a few seconds he would have. It's not a big deal that your dog has a bit of a smell and then takes a few seconds to recall. Don't freak out about it, guys. I think asking your dog to, within half a second, instantly stop what they're doing, when they're on a beach and they're smelling through the sand, we need to just chill out a bit. It's very difficult. Nash, come. Good boy. I'm going to do a couple more, then I'm going to show you the next step I'd go to after the long lead, what I would do. I let my dog walk, name before command. Nash, Nash, come. Sit, good boy. Let him go at it. And you're just going to walk up and down the beach and you're just going to repeat this. You need to do the reps. If you're going to skip steps and not do the reps, guys, you're not going to get the results. You've got to do this a lot of times. Now, you might say to me, when do I take the lead off or drop it? The next step after this for me would be drop the lead but have it on the dog. It's like an equipment association. The dog realizes that the lead's on him. He may not realize you haven't got it in your hand, but it creates a bit of a boundary with you and the dog. The third step is obviously lead off the dog, but we need to do this properly. Do not rush the steps. So let's say you've done this for a while, your dog's doing a pretty good recall. I'll do one more. You notice I don't give the command until I get his attention. Nash, Nash, hey, Nash, come, sit. What he was looking at up there is 3 or 4 dogs, a little bit focused. There's no point saying the word until I get the dog's attention. This is a very challenging environment to recall your dog. The water, the sand, the dogs, it's very, very difficult. So have a bit of patience with your dog. Do one more. Nash, come. Good boy. Yes. Now the hand signal would be 2 hands up in the air if you're going to use a hand signal. Let's go to stage 2. So let's say my dog's doing a pretty good recall, lead in hand. I drop the lead. Let the dog wander. Nash, come. Sit. Good boy. Let him go again. It's a lot more challenging now, but I have the ability, if I need to pick up the lead, I can. Found a ball. Nash, come. Here, quick. Don't freak out. Nash, come. Sit. Good boy. So he's found a tennis ball, which I'm going to take out of play. A little bit of a side note there, but that's okay. Now here's a dog coming. Let's hopefully he'll go to the dog and I'll have to do a recall. Remember, set yourself up for success. If you think it's going to fail, go towards your dog before you call your dog. Don't say the word when you really know that's probably not going to be successful. This is a challenging environment. Remember that. I want to let him wander off. Unfortunately, he knows I have this ball in my hand now. This is what we'll do. My dog has a leave it command. Leave it. Leave it. Let's go. Leave it. Leave it. Leave it. Let's go. Good boy. Leave it. Now he knows I haven't got the ball. Nash, come. Good boy. So I've had to make him leave that ball alone. Hey, now what do I say? A little side note here. When I don't use the recall command, if I want my dog to follow me, I use the term let's go. We don't want to confuse the recall command and just wanting your dog to follow. I hear this all the time. People will say to their dog to Nash, Nash, hey, come here. Oh, he's distracted, new dog. So what do I do? Hey, leave it. Sit. The new big dog up here. He's like, I want to play. I don't use the recall command. So if he's a dog up here and want him to follow, let's see how we go. Nash, let's go. Hey, let's go. This is what I'm talking about. Let's go means follow it, like leave it, come with me. But I don't need him to recall and sit here. Let's do that again. So I'll do a recall. And as you see, it's challenging. This environment hasn't gone exactly perfectly, but that's good. You guys need to see that it's not easy in a challenging environment. I'll let him dig. Nash, Nash, come. Good boy. Purposely let them get distracted. Practice it when they're distracted. And what do I use to follow me? Let's go. Nash, let's go. Yes. Let's go means just come in my direction, but you don't have to sit with me. One more recall. Here we go. Nash, Nash, hey, Nash, come. Good boy. Leave it. Leave it. Hey, leave it. Sit. I don't know if you guys saw then, but he saw this dog and he was going to run. I had to use a leave it command. This video is not about leave it, but I had to use a leave it command. He wants this dog. Okay, so I'm going to let my dog free. Free, there you go. Clearly wants to play with other dogs. I didn't want to get too long on that video, but hopefully that gives you some tips and makes you realize that it's very challenging. You saw me there have a couple of challenges with sniffing with other dogs. Guys, you're on a beach. It's not going to be perfect. You need to chill out sometimes. But just to remind you, don't set them up for failure. A bunch of dogs and you think it's just not going to happen, go to your dog, put your dog on a lead. Don't try and call them away from 5 dogs playing with a tennis sport. It's going to be pretty challenging. You can try, but if it doesn't work, never freak out and make your dog think they're in trouble for not coming to you, because the quickest way to stop the dog coming is make them realize they get in trouble when they do come to you. Okay, these are very important points. Trust the process, don't skip steps, set them up for success, create the bond, do all those things and practice and be very patient. I hope this video has helped you out a lot with your recall, some long lead work. Remember, patience, guys. As usual, I really appreciate a subscribe, a share, a like, hit the little thumbs up. It is very much appreciated, and I'll see you soon in my next video. Bye.